Hello. According to the press, men are turning into women and women are turning into men. As they say on TV, transgender for everybody. I'm Dr. Dave, your transgender health and hormone specialist with almost 30 years experience in the field. Let's talk about something a lot of people misunderstand about transgender. Most people think transition means someone is becoming something new, like a man becomes a woman or a woman becomes a man. But that's not what's happening, not even close. Here's a better way to think about it and reframe the idea. When a baby is born, a doctor looks at their body and makes a quick call, boy or girl, based on what they see externally. That label gets stamped on the child before they can speak, before they can think out loud, before they can tell us anything about who they are. And
My God. This is a doctor with almost over 30 years experience with hormones and whatever else they're saying. This is what I'm laughing because it's absurd. It is absurd that a doctor would say something so insane. But you wait, when I finish the rest of this video, your mind is going to be blown again. You know, I got to start calling these doctors out. They are part of the massive problem with these young people. So today I'm going to show you a mishmash of videos that I found that are just going to show you the insane mental health problem we have going on that is being instilled into these young people through our medical field of people. There are disingenuous doctors out there leading these kids down some yellow brick road to testosterone and to surgery. Anyway, you just wait. So with that, I want to thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel, liking, commenting. I read all the comments. Thank you guys so much. Thanks really seriously for supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. So let me show you. I hope you're ready for this because it's actually insane. And, well, it's insane. That's all I'm going to say. So just be prepared. But I think if you're watching my channel, you're prepared.
For most people, the label fits fine for their life. But what if the doctor got it wrong? Not wrong in a careless, uncaring way, but just wrong in the sense that bodies don't always tell the full story of who a person is. A trans woman didn't become a woman. She always was one. She was just given the wrong label on day one. Same for trans men.
Wow.
Transition isn't a transformation. It's a correction.
Don't speak for me, buddy. Okay, you're not even, first off, trans, but you're a hormone doctor saying some insane shit like that. You're a hormone doctor. Then if you're a hormone doctor, then you don't really understand what hormones are, do you? So no, that's not actually true. I was never born a man. I'm not a man. I did not become a man. I'm still a female. I will always be a female. What the fuck, man? These people are making it so insane that eventually no one's going to believe people like me exist because we got wingnut doctors who have an agenda. Okay, so now he's speaking over transsexual people, and they've always been a woman, and they've always been a man. Nope. Doctor saw a vagina, said, you know what? Buck is a chick. Seriously. What?
It's someone finally aligning their life, their body, and their social world with who they've always known themselves to be on the inside. The body was assigned, the identity never was.
Wow.
Transition is what happens when a person is finally allowed to live honestly, instead of living under a label that never fit in the first place. That way of thinking about it really shifts perspective for a lot of people. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the idea. Where do you land on this? And I always appreciate your likes and follows and shares.
That's why you're doing it, for your likes and follows and shares. I'm sure you don't want to hear my opinion on it, but guess what, buddy? You're going to hear it anyway. Shut up. Sit down. You need to have your license taken away. You're making shit up, okay? Like, female and male is an actual real thing. It's biology. And you as a hormone doctor, wow, man. Also, I chose to look like this, okay? Because it makes me feel better, because I have something called gender dysphoria. Who knows how I got it? I mean, I think there's many reasons why I have it and why some people have it harder than others and why I choose to transition to look this way as an adult. But you, buddy, oh, you just wait. I have some more here. I'm getting ahead of myself because doctors like this really piss me off. That he has I really appreciate the follows and likes. He's got an agenda. He has a full on agenda. I can't believe this dude has 30 years experience. So here, now I'm going to start to show you the impact of these doctors, okay?
Top surgery update. What do you think I should get my nip tattoo as? I did think about keeping my nips, but I got a little hungry after surgery. They're supposed to give you crackers. They didn't. Not my fault. I was thinking like blackout stars. Is that basic? I feel
My nips. What should I get my nips? Still acting like a woman, if you ask me. Very female, just the whole energy. And ha ha ha, I got top surgery with no nips, and now I'm going to get them tattooed. And I'm only like 18. And when I turn to be 30, I'm going to totally hate myself, and I'm going to hate the whole world. And then you're just going to keep spinning out. You and I both know it. This is what's happening, that we have to, we cannot continue to let this happen. We just can't continue to let this happen. I'm just, you know what? I'm all for adults making choices, but I don't even think an 18 or a 20-year-old can actually make. This is a lifelong situation. You now have no breasts and no nipples. Wow. Just wow. This one really pisses me off.
Hey, this is Max. This is my voice. 4 months with the testosterone vocal. Oh, 4 months and 1 week with the testosterone vocal cord shots. At this point, when I like talk to myself or like you know, I'm watching a video and I go, oh wow, that's cool, or like, oh damn, I didn't think she could do that. My voice startles me. I'm still adjusting to it. And like there's a point where like it took me a long time to realize that visually I passed. And I think it'll take a while for my voice to really make sense to me too.
Okay, so this female to male transgender person is having an experimental procedure done where they're injecting testosterone into the vocal cords to make the vocal cords supposedly thicker, and that you can have a deeper voice like a man, right? I've been watching this person. I haven't seen any change. None. And you don't even know what the long-term effects are. I mean, if there's any doctors in the house, real ones, who can make a comment about it in the comments, I'd love to know what, I mean, this is an experiment. I don't think we even understand the long-term effects of shoving a needle into your vocal cords to make it more masculine. But I don't see any change. Okay. So this is all an experiment with the creepy 30-year plus hormone doctor leading the way down the yellow brick road.
My name's Oliver. I just went off my mood stabilizers and they doubled my T-dose. Welcome to Jackass.
My name is Oliver, and I went off my mood stabilizers, and they doubled my dose of testosterone. Bam. Just said it right there. What? Like, and they're giving these young people testosterone while they're even on medication. So they took him off of mood stabilizers and instead gave him something that is going to make him so... What's happening? What is happening? Trans is an experiment, is an actual experiment. And they're using all of these young people who they've brainwashed as guinea pigs. I told you, my doctor basically called me a guinea pig 30-something years ago. Because I was. And it's still happening. It's still happening. You're still all guinea pigs. Don't you see? It's a never-ending experiment. Forever. No, I'm just very upset about this whole thing. It's not even funny. But then, you know, I spoke about this on my live on Wednesday, and I am not okay with people who are obese. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I don't think it's okay. I don't like how we have fat influencers. I don't think it's okay to act like it's completely healthy. It's my opinion and from factual information, so you can call me fat shaming all you want. I don't care. I don't believe people like to be obese. I have friends who are overweight or obese and it's uncomfortable and they don't like it. Could be problems with their metabolism, thyroid, there's a million things. Or you could just be a fucking overeater. So that being said, when I see somebody getting surgery who is overweight or obese, I am blown away because that's the one thing and I've always been in shape my whole life. I've always been very about being in shape. But I remember one of the things that they told you in surgery, and one of the things you had to click was weight. Like you cannot have surgery if you're smoking, drinking, overweight. These are things that they would never even touch you to have top surgery. So I'm prefacing the next couple videos with what I'm telling you here. It is mind blowing what I'm seeing, how many overweight young people there are, number one. Number two, how many overweight trans people there are who are getting top surgery. It is dangerous to go into surgery when you are obese or overweight. You could have a heart attack or die, or there's other things that can happen to you when you're under the anesthesia. Yet here they are doing it. It's just mind-blowing to me. Like, what the fuck? They don't care about these kids. They do not care about them. So watch this. What? Just what is that? That is somebody who thinks that they are a transsexual or a trans person. And they're, it's just what? Just what? Why wouldn't you go and like try to get yourself healthy before you have top surgery? I don't get it. I actually don't, because isn't it a whole like aesthetic? You want to look like a man. You don't want to have breasts anymore. You want to, at least have some muscle mass maybe. What are you transitioning to? Humpty Dumpty? Like, seriously, I know. I had to say it. I had to say it. I had to say it. Sorry. So we'll look at this.
So I got top surgery about 7 months ago, and just wanted to show you the results of that as someone that has a BMI over 40. I'm happy with my results, working on losing weight so I can enjoy this more, but yeah, this feels good. I don't get to do this as often, just be shirtless in the sun, so this feels really good.
Just wow. Come on, man. So now you got, you're 40, your BMI is 40, and what doctor worked on you? You are so lucky you made it out of surgery, number one. Number two, so now you're going to lose the weight? Why didn't you lose the weight before you went in and got surgery? Because now after you had surgery, when you're still obese, okay, and now you're going to lose the weight, what happens is all the skin is going to drop. The surgery that you got here is going to just be a mess. It's going to be a mess because all the skin, that's what happens with people who are heavy like that. Their skin just hangs and they have to get all this. So you're going to have to get all your skin removed, and who knows what that top surgery, it just seems backwards. Yet we're just letting these kids go and cut off their tits and then act like, woo, I'm so happy. I might die of a heart attack tomorrow, but I'm going to be so happy. Like, no, someone's got to say it, and I'm just going to be the guy who says it. Okay, I'm bringing up this wingnut because I just wanted to show you this because it's just so fucking annoying.
The trans genocide that is currently happening in this country, right, that all of the top academic researchers have already confirmed we're well into, doesn't just mean the murdering of trans people. It means the systematic eradication of trans people from public life. And what we're seeing in Kansas, what we've seen this past year with hundreds of anti-trans bills being passed left and right, is contributing to the trans genocide, and we're not considering that. We're not considering that trans people are in a genocide in this country that's like currently happening.
No, you're not. And just so you know, you're totally full of shit. because the people who are dying are not trans people. They're being shot by trans people. Like what? Like what genocide? Do people even understand what genocide is? There's not no systematic takeaway of trans people. There's being things that are being taken away need to be taken away. Okay? Because you abused them. You abused the system that many of the elders built for us to just live our lives. Did you know that? So I just, the clapping. I just needed to do this one because first off, the lies, they love the genocide, they love to keep saying the trans genocide. Yet there's no proof of all the top academic. At this point, we don't believe academics, just so you know. Academics are the reasons we're in this fucking situation we're in right now. So go take your queer theory and your academic shit and shove it up your ass because it means nothing about nothing. It's not real. Okay? Do you know what theory is? So you're just creating another theory that isn't based on facts, by the way. So how do you like that? My God, Jesus Christ. Can you imagine if I had a debate? I would be totally loving sitting across the table from this one, man. It would be the most awesome debate. Okay, so I'm ending it with this because I just have to. Full circle, friends. Full circle.
Hello, I'm Dr. Dave, your transgender health and hormone specialist with almost 30 years experience in the field. Today is part 7 in the series I've been running, and this one is for the non-adults. This one's for the kids, not the parents, not the researchers, not the people debating this online. This one is just for you. If you're watching this at 2 a.m. with your headphones so nobody hears you, this one's for you. If you've been carrying something around for years that you don't have words for yet, this one's for you. If you've typed things into a search bar and then deleted them as quickly as you could because you were scared of what you might find or that your parents might see your search history, this one's for you. I want to start by telling you something I mean seriously, wholeheartedly and completely. What you're feeling is real. I don't expect you to explain it. I don't need you to have the right words for it. I don't need you to have it figured out. It's real because you're real. And you've been carrying this long enough that it brought you here, brought you to me today, and that matters. Here's something nobody tells us when we're young and scared. We don't have to have a label before we're allowed to feel what we feel inside. A lot of people think they need to be 100% certain before they can say anything to anyone.
I knew he was a P person. I knew it. I just hello, dude is talking to the kids without the parents in the room. Okay, the 30-year plus hormone doctor who I keep saying needs to be reported. He's literally said he's talking to the kids without the parents around. If that, and also when the audio, it's literally the video. It's not my system. It's the video. It stopped and he kept talking, but that's why it looks like that. But that being said, creep. I knew it. There was something about the dude. My instinct. My stomach, my instinct to protect the kids from these people. I could see it a mile away, and then he just proved it to me right there. Talking to the kids without the parents in the room has to be the creepiest thing to ever say on the internet. Gross. So, with that, my baby's safe and my kid is safe because every day I talk to my son, literally, probably every day. I'm like, so what happened at school? And were there any weirdos hanging out outside? And I always talk to him about these kinds of people. So he knows literally what to do and how to clock one a mile away. So if you're not talking to your kids about these creeps on the internet, always, I tell them, dude, what game you playing? What's happening? What's going on? Always keep having the conversation with your kids about these people, because if you don't have an open dialogue with them, they might not ever tell you, I feel weird about this person. Something's weird. Give the kid, if that makes sense, just have it so they feel comfortable telling you everything. So today, it was really about, I just keep seeing more and more of these young kids struggling and more of these young kids trying to find identity, and the doctors again, having them sort of like think about their identity so much. They're thinking about their identity because we have adults making them think about their identity so much. Oh, you don't have to worry about your identity. Then why are you talking to the kids about it? Why are you telling the kids you don't have to talk about your identity, but you're talking about your identity? You see what I'm saying? So, and it's so sad to watch them all with that and this. And anyway, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a reaction on prisoners being transgender women. Prisoners, is it prisoners or are they called inmates? Okay, well, we'll just call them inmates. Trans women inmates who are biological male, who are being transferred to women's prison in California. We're going to talk specifically about California. I think they're being transferred in other states as well, but I'm specifically going to focus on the California state prison system here. And the fact that we have males, biological males, being put in women's prison. And so I have some really great clips to show you because I'm just very shocked that this isn't more prominent within the news media. Well, I guess I'm not shocked. They don't talk about anything that's important. And that being said, and they don't tell the truth. So there's this great I want to give a shout out to this great site called the Independent Women's Forum, IWF. It's on YouTube, and I'll put a link to it here because I'm going to use some of the videos that they have produced, which are really well produced. And they talk to actual women inmates, one who has been released. I think both of them have been released, but their experiences in the women prison while trans women, biological males, were transferred to the prison while they were there. And the insanity that came when those males were transferred to a woman's prison. It is, I can't even believe I'm actually having this conversation. It's so absurd and insane. Now, before we move forward, I just want to let you know that I spent like a week in jail once. I'm laughing because it was insane. And I was actually in a woman's prison because it was prior to my transition here in Los Angeles. And it was not fun and it was not okay. And it was pretty rough. But I have to tell you this. There were no men in the prison, okay? And I can't even imagine being in that space. You're cramped in, it's small, it's horrible, it's insane. It's not fun. It's its own world, let me just tell you. There's rules and regulations and all kinds of stuff. But it's with women. When you pluck a man in a situation, I don't care that it's a trans woman. I don't care. They're still male. I'm still female. When you put a man in that situation, all hell is going to break loose. Especially when the males are still intact physically with their genitalia and possibly not even taking hormones. This is absurd, people. So anyway, I don't want to make this too long, but even though I think this is one of the most important pieces that I have done, honestly, I just feel so disgusted. So this first one, and before I move forward, I just want to again, thank you so much. It's been amazing. This whole thing has been just amazing for me. I very much enjoy doing this. I do. And it's hard to do the research and to see these things, and it makes me frustrated. But I really do appreciate that you see what we're doing here. And this is our channel, and just building this for information so that people can see. Some people probably don't even know this is happening. So, by liking and subscribing and commenting and getting these pieces out, it's really helping this channel get to be seen by people that I really do think need to see it. And it helps me, you help me be able to make these videos, okay? So thanks so much. And so now I'm gonna just sit down. Seriously, if you're not, sit down, because this is unbelievable. So here we go. I'm gonna bring up this first one, and this is an actual prison guard who resigned after all of this nonsense. So watch this.
I was working at Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility, which is a male institution.
California has passed legislation allowing transgender inmates in the state's correctional facilities to be assigned housing based on their gender identity.
That's when the males started, by the numbers, identifying themselves as females, to the point where we were now giving them transgender identification cards so that they can purchase female products at the canteen, such as moo-moos, makeup, bras, tampons.
In September, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed Senate Bill 132 into law.
We had to transfer male inmates to female institutions. Oh, they were excited. They were like kids in a candy store because they knew they were going from a men's prison to a female's prison. And we would watch them take off in the bus.
So that's from a guard, okay? We can't, let's not pretend this isn't happening. And the trans activists out there, shame on you, okay? Now, I believe in human rights for everyone, but you can't push aside the rights for the majority of the people for the rights of one or two different people. I also knew this was going to happen. Now, all of a sudden, all of these men are claiming to be trans because that's all you have to do in prison. You just have to say, I'm trans now. And maybe not even take hormones, but you get to actually go to the... Why are they buying tampons? Why are male inmates buying tampons? And why are tampons even in the male facility? This is... Wow, really? I mean, this is where you gotta say it's bullshit. It's actual bullshit. There is no way a transgender woman, a biological male, needs tampons. So there you go. And then he said they're buying moo-moos, they're buying makeup, they're buying all kinds of stuff. When you're in prison... Isn't it supposed to be like you're not allowed to have any rights on some level? Of course, you have to have basic human rights, food and safety and sleep and all those kind of things. But why do you get rights to be this? This is a privilege. What I have here is a privilege. And when you mess up in the world and you go to prison, you don't get to have privileges anymore. That's why you're there. So that's the other thing that I don't understand. It's like this privilege to be this and then to be transferred to a woman's prison. That just should be off the table. What we should be doing is making segregation. If these people are in some kind of danger, which they possibly might be, then we should make different cells for these people. But to transfer them to a woman's prison is absurd, beyond belief. And here, let me show you why. So now I'm going to show you this. This is Amy. She's awesome. She was in a woman's prison, and then when she got out, she created an organization to help women. I think it's called Women to Women, and she's amazing, and she stayed in contact with a lot of the inmates, and she's the one who actually is helping to bring a lot of the information from the inside to the outside. I've become friends with Amy. In fact, I'll be doing an interview with her soon. But she's amazing and awesome, so listen to what she has to say.
During my incarceration, there was a policy that was just case by case. As there were safety needs for trans women or others, it was considered by a committee, and people trickled in, one here, one there. But in 2012, there was a convicted serial rapist who was transferred into the Central California Women's Facility in Chowchilla, California. And it was extremely traumatic for all women on all yards, because the betrayal, the abandonment, all of the feelings that women already are trying to recover from and heal from, they're being re-traumatized from the state.
So you see that? We forget that many women deal with SA. She just said it, many women in this prison system are dealing with a lot of trauma from SA. And then you put a man, okay, in the cell with the women, and what do you think is going to happen there? These are intact men who have created what is the most bizarre thing about all this? It seems like a lot of these trans women are serial rapists or have done really insane murderers, rapists, sexual assault people. They're not just, they haven't done just like petty crimes. They always seem to have done some insane stuff, and that deals with assault. So here you're putting these men in a system with women who already feel vulnerable and messed up. And then you just add this person in there who's aggressive, probably not even on hormones. Like, what is happening? When you're not on hormones, you can still be functioning as a male, by the way. And that's one of the things that I have been hearing that's happening in there. Women are getting pregnant. There's tons of sex going on in there. There's all kinds of stuff going on in there. Women are being abused and forced. And yeah, that's right. This is happening. Whether you believe it or not, it's happening. So I'm going to also show you this this other one. It's not the last one. This woman was also in prison and got her, here's the deal. These women are serving time. It's called time served. Okay, they did their crime, they served their time, they get out, but now they're being more traumatized by having these men come into the space and traumatize them. When you're in prison, you're supposed to be there because you did something bad, you're serving time, and when you get out, it's done. But why are they being abused this way? And why are we letting this happen? And what about this is a human right? That's what I want to know. What about this is a human right? And why is no one listening to the women? So listen to what she has to say here.
The transgender inmates started coming, I want to say during COVID. They were just slowly being incorporated into general population. We're getting the predators, people who have been incarcerated for rape, men who have been incarcerated for oral copulation, men who have been incarcerated for crimes against women. We were very nervous, angry. We weren't given a voice.
She says a couple very important things here, so I want to play the second part of this.
There was one man who came and he wore pigtails and lipstick and pink shirts for the first 3 months. And after that, he cut his hair short, almost bald, and started wearing Levi's and white t-shirts to resemble a man again. Got a girlfriend, lived with her, and there was domestic violence there.
So you see, and you don't think that's happening? So all of a sudden in the men's prison, these men are women, and then their human rights are being violated, so they get to be transferred to a woman's prison. Once they get into the woman's prison, they stop looking like women. She just said it. Came in pink and ponytails and lipstick. Once they were there, they went right back to looking like a man and started having relations with another inmate in there, a woman. And that woman and them got into a relationship of domestic violence. And as we know, that happens a lot because that's a trauma-related thing. And a lot of people get back into those dysfunctional relationships because it's all they know. This is just so disturbing. I hope you're as disturbed as I am. This last piece I got was from, I think it's Senator Kennedy, grilling Sarah Netburn on why these particular trans women are being let into women's prison when their history is this.
Did he rape a 17-year-old girl or not after a 9-year-old boy?
I believe that's what he pled guilty to.
Okay, and then he went to prison, didn't he?
Yes, the petitioner was.
And then he came out and he sent child porn, basically adults, little children, to another sex offender. And he was sent back to prison, right?
The petitioner pled guilty to
Was he sent back to prison?
Well, that case was in the federal system, so.
Was he sent back to prison?
Yes, this time to federal prison.
Thank you. And then he decided to transition, and he became a female and started going by July Justine Shelby. Is that right?
Yes.
And Miss Shelby said, I don't want to go to a male prison. I want to go to a female prison. And the Board of Prisons said, what planet did you parachute in from? You're going to a male prison with this kind of record. And you sent him to a female prison, didn't you? You said that the Board of Prisons was trying to violate Ms. Shelby, former Mr. McLean's constitutional rights, didn't you?
I issued a report and recommendation to the district judge recommending that the district judge transfer the petitioner to a women's facility.
That is a woman judge throwing women under the bus. She actually said that this serial offender, male, should be sent to a woman's prison after he did all of that insane stuff with kids and with... Is this really where we are? Is this really our system? Everyone's lost their minds. I don't care if you're trans. I don't care what you are. If you're an a-hole and you're committing this kind of stuff, especially against women, you don't get those rights. It is an actual gift to transition. Okay? It is not something that is owed to you, and you don't just get to do it and then abuse the system. That's literally what's happening. They're using trans to abuse the system and abuse women. I'm not okay with it. As a transsexual, it's disgusting. And it's wrong. It has nothing to do with being trans. You're in prison. You lose all your rights. You get food and water and sleep and maybe some exercise. Deal with it. But why are you getting everything else? You don't deserve that. You did that stuff to children. You're done. Get it together, people. Vote these people out. These people are the ones who are running our system. Women are suffering. Children are suffering. Actual, real transsexual people are suffering. If you and I don't come together on this, it's never going to end. Okay? I am willing to speak out against the sick trans agenda because I care. I actually care about you. I care about children. I care about myself. I care about humanity. And this is not humanity. This is something else. Before I leave, I just want to leave this little tidbit for you. Why are women who are transitioning in a woman's prison not asking to be transferred to a male prison? Think about it. Thank you all so much for watching. That was a really hard one for me. I just feel so passionate and so angry about the whole thing. So I hope I didn't come off too insane, but it just really upsets me. Hey, everybody, I caught myself another one. This is going to be a great interview. And I want to remind everybody here before I move forward is that I feel very, very lucky not only to have all of you watch my channel and to continue to support this channel, but because of you, I get these kinds of people stepping up and asking to have an interview with me, which might not necessarily be LGBTQ or trans or women or kids. I bring on all kinds of people here because it does somehow resonate with everything that's going on in this world today. So I want to remind you that that's really one of the, I think, powerful parts of creating this space is that I'm trying to give everybody a voice here and not just a certain group of people. And I think it helps us understand why things are the way they are today. And many of us feel that things are just off and not in a good way. Things can be off in a good way. But today, what we're all seeing, and you're going to see from my guests, what we're seeing is things that are alarming us. And we have to speak out. Even in the face of the adversity that we get and pushed back on, that means we have to speak out even more. So with that, thanks again for joining me today. And I have this beautiful, awesome person named Emily. Thanks, Emily. Introduce yourself and then we'll go forward.
My name's Emily. I'm an artist from New York. I do makeup, hair. I make music. I make all R&B and house music. And I also am a dancer. Yeah, I just do a whole bunch of different things and exist. And I'm pansexual. And
okay. How old are you?
I'm gonna be 25 in March.
Yeah, you're a baby. I could tell. Okay, so I'm 61. I can say that.
You really do not look like you're in your 60s. You look amazing.
Because I act like a child, so that's why people don't ever. I'm so immature for a 61-year-old. But I want to just keep telling people out there, age. Wow, you can't even imagine, Emily, the ageist stuff I get from people. Like, you're 60, sit down. Look, I'm like, what? I'm 60, but I will kick your butt.
No,
it's crazy. People act like that. So let's get down to why you reached out to me.
So I was kind of saying I sent you an email just to kind of say hey, and I really like the stuff you talk about, and I don't know how exactly I think just from me being pan and my For You
Right.
page, I found Blair,
Right.
I found Ariel, I found you,
Great.
and
Great.
I found
Great.
this bigger picture of things that you guys were saying, and I was like, oh wow, like I definitely understand.
Yeah, so being pansexual and also being sort of so I guess that kind of puts you into the LGBT community on some level because pansexual to me is just basically bisexual. It's just I think because
Yeah.
you're incorporating other gender identities inside of that. So to me it's just the same thing. So you are part of that community on some level. And I think in your email you told me that you might have identified as non-binary for a little while. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I was still kind of like figuring that out, and even to this day, the way I feel about it is like I'm not kind of gonna take up that space for trans people. Like that was never my
Mm,
intent. In fact,
hmm.
I saw my friends kind of identifying as that, and my first question was like, okay, what made you feel like that? Because I remember like when I knew I was bi, I knew I liked women and other
Hmm.
genders at a very young age, and I remember questioning my gender and having all of these things. So I can pinpoint kind of a feeling of, okay, when I felt that way, but with the
Hmm.
non-binary, it was more so, I don't know. Maybe it's just like I don't want to take away from other people who, especially like
Hmm.
if you are more masculine, feminine features or intersex, like I could see how that or detransition, how that can definitely
Hmm.
apply. Just for me personally, this is my personal experience. I
Sure.
was like, okay, this is another label that I can take because I don't really fit into a typical,
Right.
and I think that's what it is for a lot of people.
Hmm.
But then I kind of saw the danger of that. Like not to say, I still have a lot of great non-binary folks and I don't want
Sure.
to disrespect them in any way. Like I think a lot of us are kind of low key on the same page where we're not like
Yeah.
because at least the people I know, like they're not like, don't get my pronoun wrong, where I did have, one friend like that and
Hmm.
it ended up being like a falling out over something really dumb. I don't think
Hmm.
it even had anything to do with that. But I'll
Hmm.
also get into that because I have a story about that as well.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I just didn't want to take up, I knew in my mind it was different from trans because I've
Yeah.
been around trans people my whole life and yeah, queer spaces. So,
Yep, yep, yep. I appreciate that. Thank you, because I do talk about this and that's an identity choice, right? You're choosing to say, I feel non-binary. I don't feel like I'm a man or a woman. Whereas transsexualism is really, it's a mental disorder, and that is not a bad thing. I don't know why people are so
hmm,
weird about being diagnosed with a mental disorder. It's important that we get the diagnosis. It
right,
helped me. It's why I am so like solid. I found out who I am and I fixed it. And 30
right,
years I've been this way. Never have I didn't struggle anymore. And that's why I keep saying it is so important that non-binary is not the same as a trans. And I appreciate you saying that because it's like there's so many things that right. Cancer isn't diabetes, right? Like a little girl
yeah,
is not a little boy. A little girl is not a little boy. I'm not a man, by the way. I'm an actual biological female who lives as a man, and it is important for me to say that to you and to the world because then you understand where I'm coming from in a way that says, oh, I legitimately get what Buck's talking about. But if I lie to you and I say, well, I'm a man because I say I'm a man, you're not going to have any empathy or does that make sense? Or you're not going to have any desire to say, well,
absolutely.
Buck's being straight up with me. And so with the non-binary thing, I think it did infiltrate the trans space in a way that took over my voice, if that makes speaking for me, which why you're saying that
Hmm.
says a lot about you and your integrity and saying that I don't necessarily want to fit in here or take other people's space. That says a lot about you, friend. It does. Thank you.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
so
I was always
yeah,
like, I'm sorry, like kind of confused on because I figured like there's so many different, identities. We
yeah,
don't have to be in the same.
That's right. We don't have to be in the same LGBT. Did you see how long it's getting?
Yeah.
LGBTQIAPP poo poo la 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 la. I'm like, what, how is that even a community anymore? It's not. It's
That's
just
the
not.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to when you said you had a little story about your friend who you sort of lost contact with after that person identified as non-binary as well.
Yeah, that person was is a very kind of radical
Mm,
non-binary person.
yeah.
Um
There you
and
go.
I never like we were both, kind of in the same space, and I remember one of my last conversations with them was because we had went to some like it was really like it was like a Barbie pop-up. So you can imagine like there
Yeah.
was, kids there. There was
Yeah.
women there, and they were kind of just like hating on everyone, and then someone had misgendered them, and I was like, as long as you know who you are, people misgender me all the time, like, technically, because I was always
Yeah.
aware that, I'm very femme presenting. Even when I was masculine, like I taped
Yeah.
my boob, like I still was
Mhm,
feminine presenting. That's,
mhm.
how the world will see me. And I think
Yeah.
that that kind of
Yeah.
gets lost
Yes.
with the newer kind of
Yes.
rhetoric. And I want to go back to like the mental health because that's really what kind of got me to this point. I think I've been through like a lot of mental health crises in my life, and
Mhm,
like
mhm,
obviously my family has been there for me, and
mhm.
my mom, she wants to understand it, she wants to help, and I really do think that I would have been one of these people had I been, oh no, why did,
Mhm. That's all right. Just
oh no, I
it just your
got an
camera just
email and
somehow
it,
that. Oh, because you're on
oh,
your phone, so you got a
I'm back.
message. It just
um
happens. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
but
all right. Don't
I
worry.
really I thought about it because I know Chloe Cole's story, and I really truly think I would have been one of these people that would have been indoctrinated.
Oh,
And because
wow.
I was very like, and I think, my mom had, she says this, and she's like, I noticed, because she works with kids and she works
Yeah.
with special needs kids. She's like, I
Great.
noticed a lot of LGBT kids, and not to be like, she's like, not to be fat, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of mental health crisis. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. And I started doing research on that, and that's kind of what led me to, it's not a problem. We just need to address it, and like
Thank you.
us not addressing it is like leading to younger people doing things.
Well, that's creating the problem, right? It's like when you see something, you should say something, if that makes sense. Like if you see somebody getting their face bashed in, you shouldn't pull out your phone and just videotape it. You need to say
Yeah.
something. Like, what's going on with people now? They don't say anything. So it's really dangerous that we don't step up to the plate. Why these young kids are struggling. I really believe they're struggling and they're seeking stuff, and there's layers upon layers of, you just said, mental illness, and I definitely believe that's part of this. They're grasping. So let's so for you, were you looking for an identity to sort of belong to something? Is that why you think you sort of went that space?
I remember like a very distinct moment at 10 or 11 where I just wanted to reject all forms of femininity, and I went straight, and I stayed like that for a good 5 years. And then through high
Okay.
school, even when I did get more feminine,
Hmm.
definitely explored my sexuality. I explored different clothes.
Great.
I became more comfortable in it. And I think, I definitely went then hyper feminine. So the
Okay.
question of gender has always been, that's actually how I got into my career, like as a makeup artist and stuff. Cause then I really got into
Yeah.
makeup and like the arts.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just did not want to be perceived that way. And I know if I were 10 or 11
Mhm.
in this generation, like, you know, I did wear a binder, I would
Oh,
be
wow.
very confused. Um, so it really is, and now I'm 25, so it really is a spectrum. And it takes a lot of self-awareness and
And you're 25. Do you know that that's when your brain stops growing at 25? And they want to give you become a
yeah.
totally different person at 25 because you're solid and your brain stops when you're growing and things are going, all kinds of stuff is happening. So this is why I really do believe 11 and 12-year-olds, which is really a lot of trans kids are that age,
Yeah,
right? And especially girls. Do you notice it's mostly more girls than boys?
that's interesting.
It is. It's a
Yeah.
4,000%, four and
Wow.
three zeros percent increase in trans identifying female to male, like me. 4,000% increase. How
Wow.
is that possible? Why are the boys not have such a large increase? See, something's not
Right.
right. Something isn't right. Girls, look, I am a girl. I was a girl. I'm a little girl, right? So I know we're getting your breasts and all of that. Not all girls like that, and it's uncomfortable, and you become
It is
sexualized as a little
uncomfortable.
girl. I mean, there's a lot of things that start happening, and that's why I think girls reject this. And now we're giving them this language that says, "Oh, you can just become a boy."
And I know that they talk about in puberty between that time there is like a I don't know what it is, but there's
That's right.
something in your serotonin levels drop when you go through puberty.
Yep.
So it is like a
Yep.
chemical reaction. I think we
That's right.
need more time to understand that. And that's not coming from a place that's like, you're wrong. That's coming from a place
That's
of
right.
like, let's dissect it before we do anything major. So I kind of vouch to stay natural. I mean, that's just me. It does help some people.
Right.
But I
Right.
do notice this like kind of a culture between antidepressants and like it's
Totally.
on TikTok and like
Oh my God.
yeah.
No, it's not. They're self-diagnosing. They're self-diagnosing that they have autism, that they have, I think it's called DID, dissociative identity disorder.
Yeah.
They're saying, yeah, it's an actual thing. These young people are all, that's why they have 57 different identities and neopronouns. And that's mental illness. That is 100% mental illness.
Which
And
is
that's not a bad thing. It's just a thing we need to address.
right. It's so crazy to me because I mean, I've had ADHD since I was 6 years old. I had an autistic friend growing up. I was actually the only one
Hmm.
uh who
Hmm.
can kind of calm her down. That was in like elementary school. And
Hmm.
I know as like a neuro spicy person, you do go through these things. Like you are more
Yeah,
inept to certain things. So
that's right.
you have to like kind of and like it all connects. That's kind of why I had this revelation that I did. Um
Hmm.
and it's weird because yeah, it's like you say there's like a 4,000%. I remember I went to art school in 2013 and I ended in
Okay.
2017.
Uh-huh.
And there I did have a trans classmate. I
Okay.
believe he follows you as well.
Okay.
And he had a very like a pretty solid approach to it. Like, this is what I want to do. And
Hmm.
he kind of ended up distancing himself from everyone as he transitioned, which I respect,
Yeah. Totally.
I wish him well. He looks like he's doing great.
Hmm.
So and I'm sure that was really hard.
Hmm.
Like I could see like in the 2 years that I was hanging out with him how it was hard to transition because
Yeah.
he came in as female, he transitioned to male and spent the last 3 years really going through that and making that decision.
Yeah.
And then as the newer people from high school started to come in, then I heard the terms non-binary, then I heard
Mm.
different things. And there was a distinct difference in what he was doing and
Yeah.
what this this was.
Yeah. That's right. He actually transitioned. He actually did a physical, and those are the people that don't want to be associated with what's going on. He's like me. He sounds like
Mm.
he's like me. I do have nothing in alignment with non-binary, trans, mask, whatever else is going on out there over there. It doesn't make I just wanted to look like a man, right? I felt like a man, whatever that meant. I wanted to transition to look like a man. I walk the world as a man, right? That I don't walk the world as trans. No, outside of this, what we're doing here, nobody knows I'm a trans person, and that's what transsexual people want. They want to walk into the grocery store and hear, "Yes, sir." That's like the most. Those are the most
Right.
beautiful words I could ever hear when someone says, "Yes, sir," to me. I'm just like, ah, I made it, right? That's where I
Right.
want you to all see the difference between this young generation taking on all of these sort of identities. I feel like they're lost on some level, and they're seeking something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just want people to be happy. I want people to be
Me
happy with
too.
themselves. I
That's
want
right.
them to respect other people. And I feel like there's a lack of that, especially
Thank
in
you.
this, because
That's right.
like now
Yeah.
when you tell somebody, okay, like this is my mission and this
Yeah.
has to be above everyone's, then we're not like actually
Yeah.
granting and like that's not what the LGBTQ plus was for. Like we were supposed
That's
to be
right.
inclusive.
That's the funny part about it. But I'm telling you, this isn't the normal, healthy LGBT community that it once was. It's a very toxic, very angry. It's been taken over. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, it's been taken over by some other people who are not what what it really is. And I can tell you that a lot of these non-binary players, and not the normal, they're not, to me, non-binary is perfectly okay. I don't have any issues with it, because to me it just, why not? If you don't feel like a man or a woman, it makes sense. But the issue I have with the new non-binary people are this idea that they can speak for me or over me, or that
Right.
they call me
Right.
transphobic. I'm like, what? Like, those are the
Yes.
people. It's a very toxic, weird space, if that makes sense. And did you notice, well, I think you did. I think you said that. Did you notice this like anger coming from there?
I did, yeah, and it breaks my heart for the people who are detransitioning as well
Oh,
to like you say like you're included and then you get this backlash from the
yeah,
community and
that's right.
um I can
Yeah.
I mean I can't even imagine that because I get backlash from the community for being bisexual, dating a man, dating a woman. Like like people will turn
What?
on you. I've heard a lot of crazy things. I've
That's
heard
right.
like, oh, you're she they for now, but the they them is coming. Like, why are you tell? I don't know. Like, you're really
I
telling me
know
how
they
I'm
do
gonna.
that. They do that. Many other my other interviews, they told me that they were like pushed into it, right? Like, oh, don't worry, you're going to be trans later. Oh, don't you just don't know you are like, or you're an egg. They call it like an egg or something, right? Like you haven't hatched yet. They're like, I'm like, these words are so cult like. It's very cult like to sort of say this to somebody, and don't worry, you'll be joining us soon. I'm like, first off, why do you want people to join you if they're not really that? Right? That's indoctrination. That's not
It's very
naturally feel.
scary.
It's scary, and I think it's fascinating. And that's why we need more people of your age to start speaking up, which is what you're saying, because you're 25 and you're seeing it. You're like in it and seeing it, and that scares me.
I mean, it took me a while though. I mean, I never was like a person to be like, say my identity or you're canceled. Like, I wasn't like that, but
Yeah.
I was
No. Yeah.
leaning toward more that side where I was like, this is wrong, this is messed up, and I'm kind of
Yeah.
seeing a bigger picture. And
Yeah.
my bigger picture is like, why are we kind of like, I think Blair White makes a really good point with like big pharma. Like
That's
big
right.
pharma has never been on LGBTQ side.
No.
So why would they be now?
That's a
And I think
great. That's
people,
right. Yeah, why? I was around during the AIDS epidemic. I lost all of my friends to AIDS, by the way. Big Pharma did not want to help us. They would not give us the right medication. That's why many men died, because they didn't have the right medication. And so again, you're seeing they're that they are literally experimenting with children, calling them trans kids and giving them medication that has not been proven to help these children. Yet they're continually giving them this really nasty, irreversible stuff, calling it trans healthcare.
right, yeah. It's
It's sick. It's
I
actually
think
insane that they would give a child. Like, let me ask you this, Emily. Do you think once you were 10, you were 11 and 12 and you were playing with your masculinity then, do you think that they would have tried to transition you at that age?
absolutely. I would have been a
Oh, wow.
definitely fell into that because I wanted nothing to do with being girl. If I would have known,
Yeah.
because already in the past 3 years, I, I had identified as she, they. If I would have known at a younger age, I definitely, I think would have, because as soon as I had the opportunity to express different labels, I did use them.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I do remember like my mom was a nanny for a long time.
Hmm.
Uh, there was one kid who did ask me, what about if you have two parents that are the same? And I felt the need to put my rhetoric down his,
Hmm.
not, and I remember getting in trouble for that, but now looking at it, I'm like, it was not my, it was not my place to
Yeah.
be there, despite, what the parents had wanted
Hmm.
to say. But I see that with people my age becoming teachers. It's like they have a very
Yeah.
like an
Yeah.
anger, and they're like, I'm gonna
Wow.
do this to a kid instead of kind of like figuring out myself. Like I remember doing that when I was in the midst of, okay, am I gay? Am I not gay? Am I gonna come out?
Okay.
Like,
Right. Right. But I see it with teachers. It's upsetting me. Like, we never had LGBTQ teachers. I had a gay teacher when I was young, but no one ever talked about it. It was just a thing. Who cares, right? But now I'm
yeah,
seeing
it's
a
just a
young group.
part of,
It's just a part of, like, you should see all kinds of teachers, black, green, blue, gay, straight, right? Muslim, Jewish, Christian. You should see them all. That's what kids should see. But now we have literally queer teachers putting flags and books, and you can call me like make sure that you know I'm non-binary. Why does a teacher have that much why would a teacher have that much control, if that makes sense, right, over their classroom? And I think that that is actually absurd and not okay. And you're right, they're angry. The teachers I see on TikTok talking about it, they feel angry to me.
yeah, yeah. So I know definitely if I were younger, I feel like, and I think that's why I'm like, we need to figure out the mental health of these kids. Like, there's
That's
nothing
right.
wrong with them. They just need to take this
Yeah.
in a different way and realize like some of these things are permanent.
Well, they're not being
Like, and
told that. They're not being, no one's being honest to these kids. It's why I stepped up as an elder transsexual. I'm like, wait, I'm going to tell these kids how it really is. This isn't fun, right? They're all like, woo, trans joy. I'm like, oh, really? Sit down, kiddo. Let me tell you what this really is, right? A literal lifetime of shooting hormones, right? Of getting sick because the testosterone will eventually do something crappy to your body, or estrogen, right? We don't even know what I'm one of the oldest long-term living trans,
that's
female to male
amazing.
around. And I still don't know what this is doing to my body. You think a 15-year-old
Wow.
can cut off their boobs and be like, yeah, and then what? So at 15, if you would have had the opportunity, or whatever, what age that was, if you would have had the opportunity to remove your breasts, would you have done it, you think?
Yes, I would have. I don't think my parents would have signed off on it.
They don't need to now. Do you know that? Kids can have autonomy.
Wow.
It's sick. And so now I asked you that question. You said you would have, right? So now let's say you're 25 years old now and you have a whole different way of thinking about yourself, right?
Hmm.
How would you feel right now if you had gotten rid of your breasts? How would that make you feel?
Um, it would definitely make it hard. Like,
Because you're not even presenting male right now. You're very much presenting female to me. Even though you're non-binary or whatever, right? You seem to present female. So you just removed your breasts and you have these huge scars, and I, I think the question is hard to answer for you. I can understand why, but at the same time, I think we need to have these kinds of conversations because at 25, you're a different person now than you were at 15.
That, and also I don't even want to be, I don't even want to be, I'm a dancer. So that would definitely impact my,
A
the
lot.
way I work. And also I understand that we exist despite our identity amongst traditional roles.
That's right. That's totally right.
Um,
I'm not traditional, right? I don't have surgery
yeah,
down here. I still have the female parts, right? I'm not a traditional person. If you get naked, I look like a complete different weird person to some people, right? But I have to live with that for the rest of my life. That's why when you tell a 15-year-old that they can become a man or a boy just by cutting their boobs off, you're lying to them because eventually they're going to have to be naked in front of men. And when you're naked in front of men like a person like me, it's not comfortable because you don't have the same body as a male. And then you really start to sort of struggle. And how do I change in the dressing room? Where do I go? Right? These are all things that
right.
we're teaching these young kids that, oh, don't worry, everyone will accept you. No, they will not. And in fact, you might get your ass kicked. Seriously. I mean, I've gotten beat up for things because I didn't fit in.
Wow.
We're not making, just because you're around a group of people that tell you you're trans, what about when you get into the real world? And so also, Emily, what if, are you ever thinking about having children?
I personally, I think I
Mm.
want to be a cool aunt. But that's
Great
it's
answer.
like another thing because that's huge. It really is huge.
Huge.
It's huge even if you don't want kids. I have a whole bunch of family history I have to be aware of, like
Yeah.
the ovarian cancers and whatnot, and you just have
Yeah.
to really. It's not something you can just walk out with a prescription with in a day, and you don't even
Wow.
get that like when you're going for antidepressants or so I'm like,
That's right.
why should you do it with your body?
That's right, friend. You know that you can get testosterone right now if you wanted to. Anybody, they can go on the internet to certain websites and just have a 20-minute, literally, like we're doing right now, 20 minutes. I'm not kidding. And then they will mail you the testosterone. Yeah, I sent somebody in to do it. I hired a person to do it because I wanted to see if it was really, yep, totally happened. 20 minutes. He said, dude, it was literally 20 minutes. And I got the testosterone and mailed to me in a box, like a gift box.
Wow.
How is that
Yeah,
possible?
I'm like, I'm from New York. I'm like, anything that is quick, I'm like, let me think about
See?
it.
You don't think all kids are raised now on the phone, right? Everything's instant gratification. So now when a kid says
Yeah.
I'm trans, they don't even need to go through a system. They're saying I'm trans. Nobody can push back. They go to the internet, I get testosterone, nobody's monitoring them. Do you know how this stuff is gnarly? What it did to me. I mean, it's not a joke. It's I just it's supposed to be a controlled substance, testosterone. But it's not being controlled. It's being given out like candy.
Yeah. And that's what makes me believe because I mean, I'm on Adderall, which is a controlled substance, and
That's
that
right.
is
That's right.
like very hard to attain. I've had
That's
ADHD since I was 6 years old, and they were like,
yep.
it's going to affect your sleep. Are you sure? Are you
Wow.
sure? And I was
Wow.
like, the reason I'm sad is because I can't focus. I'm not like,
Yeah.
it's not the other way around. I'm not
That's
focused
right.
and sad. Like this is what I need. So it's working for me.
Great.
Um, but we needed to have that conversation. It was not a one day thing. It was weeks and weeks.
Wow.
And even with my questioning, am I non-binary,
Yeah.
questioning my
Yeah.
sexuality, my gender identity,
Yeah.
none of that was done over TikTok. None of that was done by someone telling me. Like
Yeah.
that was all me, like sitting with real
That's right.
emotions.
and doctors who actually,
and doctors.
but
Yeah.
you're making such a powerful point, Emily, because you're right. How come every other kind of medication out there, I can't think of one mental illness or comorbidity or any of these kinds of things where you could just walk into the doctor's office and tell them, I have autism, I need medicine, or I have ADHD. Nothing. You could never do that. But you know, you can do that with trans. You can walk into a doctor's office, tell them they're trans. They're not allowed to push back on you. It's real. I'm telling you, I know the whole thing that's happening. They have to affirm you if you say you're trans, and then they have to give you medication. I'm like,
Wow.
what world are we living in where you can literally do this to a child? A child doesn't understand that. At 16, I don't care what anybody says. That's a child to me. 16. I don't care. You don't have enough lived experience to understand long term. No way.
Yeah.
No
No,
way.
16, I was probably like in the worst mental health of
Yes.
my life. Like
We all
I
were.
can't even imagine like
Nope.
doing that.
Nope. And it's not to say that I don't think some 16-year-old is struggling with dysphoria. 100% they
100%.
are. But does that mean they're trans? No. Sometimes you can act like you. You might have been struggling with some form of dysphoria. I think so. But you sort of grew out of it, right? You're not your typical, like, I feel you. I feel your energy. It isn't necessarily like super feminine. I can feel that you have some of that. But that doesn't not make you a woman. You're still a woman.
Right. I think there's a lack of like when I was growing up, I mean I was 9 when gay marriage got legalized in New York, so
Yeah.
I still remember kind of that older generation, and I was
Yeah.
always like in art school, so like this was my safe space, the older generation of queer
Yeah.
people. Um
Great.
but I was going with this. Um
Well,
oh,
well, well,
it that
yeah,
it
yeah, go
was
on.
like it was accepted to be a masculine woman, or it was accepted to be a
That's
feminine woman. Like you
that's
could still embody that. Like, but I
mhm.
feel like we're losing that, and like
Yes.
we're losing that in not a way that is entirely accepting. It's still another label that's kind of meant for you
Yes.
to conform to.
Yes. No, that's great. That's a great analogy, and that's what I say. We're slipping back. What happened to why can't a little kid just be non-conforming? Why can't little kids be gender non-conforming? Why all of a sudden, if a little kid shows the desire to wear a baseball cap and play baseball with his brothers, does that make that little kid trans? Since when? Since when can't that little kid just be a little butch girl, right? Or non? Can clothes don't make you. That's the thing that I'm getting hard because these parents are saying,
That's the
"Oh,
thing,
well,
yeah.
my 4-year-old wants to wear pigtails, so they must be trans." I'm like, what? Where are you getting this stuff from? That's not true. Kids don't even know who they are until they're like maybe 25 or 16,
I
right?
still don't know. like,
That's
but
right. Me either.
yeah. This is all one human experience. I was playing with GI Joes at like 4 years old. I was combining
Excellent.
them with my Ninja Turtles, and the Barbies would have a date.
That's
But
right.
my parents, they did a good job of just letting me be. They were
That's
like,
right.
they didn't force me to try to, okay, she is this way, she must be
Yeah.
trans, or
Yeah.
um, let me put a gender neutral. Like they were just like, and I think that's honestly the way to go. As much as like,
Totally.
I
Totally.
thought about it, like I was like, what would I do if I have a kid? I don't necessarily enjoy the traditional,
Mhm.
boy, girl, blue, pink things. But,
Yeah.
and I guess, there's ways to incorporate that that's not indoctrinating a kid. Because the kids,
No.
they really don't know.
No.
And
They
that's
don't.
what I'm scared of.
Yes. You should be. I'm a parent. I have an 11-year-old, and I'm telling you that kid.
Wow.
He had long hair. He had long hair to here, and then he would come home from school and go like,
Oh.
"I was misgendered 5 times today." And if it gets to be 20 times, I'm cutting my hair. I'm like, ah. And of course, it got 20 times, and he cut his hair.
Oh,
But
man.
I'm around these young kids, right? I coach. I hang out with them. I'm around.
That's
None of the
awesome.
kids are trans. None of the kids are not, right? This is that generation. So it's a different generation. I think that generation is pushing back on the nonsense coming from your generation or the generation now. And I think that they're starting to see that they can't look. I tell my kid, you can be whatever you want, dude. I don't care. Be a Ninja Turtle. Like, who cares? But remember, that's fantasy. That's totally
Right.
fantasy. You
Right.
can't actually become a Ninja Turtle, but you can pretend all you want. It's healthy. And I think what we're doing is we're mixing up these kids' idea of what a fantasy is into reality. Do you know how dangerous that is? When you start mixing fantasy and reality instead of being straight up with these kids. Nope, you're not a boy. You're a girl. Like my parents didn't tell me I was a boy. They're like, you're a girl, but you can wear boy clothes. It's totally fine,
That's
right?
what my parents did. Yeah.
That's because your parents are awesome and they totally get it. That's right.
Yeah. Shout
Yeah.
out to them.
Shout out to your parents. That's healthy parenting. That is. It's really healthy parenting. You've got to let kids kind of struggle, if that makes sense, whatever that means, right? And you can't affirm everything a child says. That's what we're doing now. We're affirming every time a child says they're trans. We have to affirm that they're right. I'm like, you're affirming somebody's sort of delusion on some level. Right? It's a delusion to think you're a boy or a girl. And on some level, I had that delusion for many years until I became 30 years old and made the choice on my own. It can
Wow.
still be considered a delusion to some people, and that's okay. But I'm happy. Isn't that all that really matters in the scope of
Yeah.
it? Yeah, that's right. And I participate in the world, and so do you. And that's where we have to start to understand. You can identify as non-binary, Emily, and you can be whatever you need to be. But are you healthy participating in the world? And I think you are.
And that's what matters, like how you interact with other people. And
That's right.
I it may have been like COVID. I think people had a lot of time to
Oh God,
think
yeah,
how
100%. Not it's not only COVID. Then they were on these machines, right? And TikTok, and they just got this false sense of reality. I'm glad that I wasn't that age when they were locked up because they were pretty much kids were locked up with their parents or what, you know what I mean? They weren't getting the social,
yeah.
right? We need to be social with each other. It's important.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
Yeah.
still like kind of waiting to see the effects of, what is gonna
Oh,
happen.
oh, it's gonna be. I'm telling you right now, these poor kids. It's gonna be because you watch. We know there's detransitioners, but you think that's something you watch and see in the next 5 years how many more detransitioners there's gonna be. Mark my
That's
words, friend.
heartbreaking.
Hundreds upon hundreds of them. It's scary. It's actually scary.
Wow. Yeah,
Um,
Chloe Cole's story was heartbreaking, but it seems like she's
heartbreaking.
doing really
She's a
well
good
now.
friend of
Like,
mine. She is. She's a very good friend of mine. I'm a friends with a lot of the detransitioning young people because I care about them. I care about you too, Emily. The fact is that I care about all of you young people, and I don't want you to do something that could actually be so detrimental to your health in the long run. You know what I mean?
right,
Yeah.
for
So,
sure.
so So, do you have anything you might want to say out there to maybe your generation? Because it's your generation that's acting insane.
Yeah, mine and like under. Um, huh.
Are you Gen? Wait, are
Like,
you Gen? Are you a millennial? Are you a millennial? Is that what you are? Wait, what are you?
no,
Gen Z or
like
Gen? What? Do you even
my
know?
generation didn't really get a label. Like I'm 99. We're
I don't
Gen,
even know what
like
that
we
is.
didn't get a
Oh God,
I guess
99. That's crazy.
we would be considered Gen Z. Some of us I
I
don't think we're
think, yeah.
millennials.
I don't think so, but
We're
I get all
closer to
mixed up.
the.
All I know is I'm a boomer. And then I was like, you're just a boomer. Shut
Really?
up. Yeah, I'm 61, right? So I was born in 1962. I'll be 62
Wow.
this year. I know that's
Oh, that's like
crazy. It is
amazing
crazy.
stories.
My story, I'm writing my book. You won't
Oh,
even believe it.
so
You
excited.
won't even believe where I came from. I mean, that's why I am happy. I'll be honest with you, because I should be, honestly, so many times I barely made it out
Wow.
alive. It's incredible. That's why I celebrate. And I'm not scared to say the things I need to say, right? Because I really did live a very scary space, and I care. This life means a lot to me. It does. I can't even believe I'm alive at 61. I was like,
You're a
this is so.
legend. You're really,
I
you're a
was like
living
smoking.
legend.
I was smoking crack, like literally, like that
Oh my
bad. Let me tell
god.
you, it. That's why I'm like,
You're gonna
whatever.
hear
That's why I'm
it.
like, say whatever you need to say to me because I was smoking crack. So you can. It's funny, friend.
Incredible.
So that's just thanks for coming on today, Emily. It means a lot that young people like yourself want
Thank
to
you
have
for
the
having
conversation
me.
with
I'm
me
so
and
honored
want to.
that you reached out to me.
Well, you reached out to me, and then your story is important, and also your voice is important to me because you have a story there that some young kid might see you and see themselves, if that makes sense. Look at how you are today. You're a beautiful human who has the career. You're doing great stuff. You didn't get sucked into something. Even with your mental health problems, you seem totally solid.
I'm trying. It took a lot of work to get here. I feel
Yeah,
like so that's why I'm just like,
yeah.
let me try to make it easier for
Yeah,
somebody if I
but that's what
can.
kids need to see. They need to see that you did the work. Not everything gets handed to you. Today, I feel like kids just give me money. Do you know people send me stuff? Send me, they send me Venmo requests for
No
their surgery.
way.
Well, it's crazy. They literally
Whoa.
send me money. I'm like, I'm not sending you any money. Like, get a job, dude, or like something.
Oh my
Like,
God.
what?
I've been working since I'm 13.
Me too. My dad made me rake the lawn when I was 5. I'm like, it's instilling work ethic.